Hey guys, welcome back to Just Carve Rob. And we're going to be carving this this cowboy birdhouse. These are 1x4s and they're glued on the corner. So when the next 1x4 goes on here, it'll be here to there. Okay. So it'll be another little box like this. See, I got this side marked. That's the width of the 1x4. And so you think it's going to be short on one side, but it won't be, because this next board will be glued to the outside of this board. Okay. All right. And this is where our bottom is going to sit inside. So we can only cut it right here, into here. We can't cut this whole beard out. So this part is going to be a background, I guess. Okay. So, let's get started carving this face, shall we? Yes, we shall. And we are using the Dremel 4000 today. And we will be using I don't know if you guys can see that. Can't put it by my ring so I know where it is. I can't see the screen that well because I have what little sun there is shining through. We're going to be using this saber tooth bit. We may change over to the cut saw bit. All right. So let's get the noise started. We're carving outside on a semi-nice day here in Michigan. So we will be using the Dremel 4000 with the saber tooth bit to start with. We're not using no girly little micro motor. We're going to be using the heavy duty Dremel 4000. Let me show you. All right, guys, let's fire this thing up. We got the Dremel 4000 with the saber tooth coarse bit. And we're going to basically the same way that you would start a wood spirit, but we're on a corner. So we're going to trace the nose and the mustache. And we got a lot of wood to move here to get everything popping the way we want to. But remember, this board is only 1 inch thick. Okay, it's a little bit thicker on the corner because you got 2 boards overlapping. Okay, but yeah, don't go hog wild like you do your wood spirits. Because you got to remember, the board is only 1 inch thick. So you only want to go at max 3/4 of an inch deep into this. Okay, guys? That's your maximum depth. Other than that, and you'll actually be able to hear the tone of the wood as you're carving, and it will change. It'll get like a hollow or a tinny sound as you're carving. So keep that in mind as you're carving the wood away. When you hear that note change, your wood's a singing to you, and you hear the note change, guys, you know you're starting to get a little bit on the thin side. So make sure you keep measuring. And like I said, a lot of places on this, it's only going to be 1/4 of an inch thick. Okay. Sorry about the camera position, but it is what it is, and it is where it is. So I hope it's going to be good enough. Like I said, with the sun shining, I could not see through the screen on the camera. The LED screen was just black because, you had to cup your hands around it. And I tried getting the best spot for it. It's on a tripod that I had to make a little bit longer and higher. So, all I can say is I hope it's good enough. So yeah, you can see we're shaping that bottom. I guess it'd be the beard part. You can see we're shaping that beard part, getting it all rounded over. That's going to be the longest part of this, is rounding everything over. And I have sped this footage up 2 times the speed, just to let you know. And there I am. Because his mouth has got to be open for the birds to go in and out. I am marking his lower lip in, okay? And his lower lip might look like it's too low, but you gotta remember, this hole's gotta be big enough for a bird to get in and out of, okay? Playing with your foot pedal, Rob, playing with the foot pedal. Yeah, this table's adjustable, so I probably should have adjusted it up a little bit. It's a little bit low, but and I'm working away from myself to keep it in focus or in frame. So now we're undercutting the nose and feathering it back. Undercut the nose and feather it back. This area where we're working right now is actually going to be the thickest part of your wood, okay, for carving, which is good because this is where you got to carve the deepest at, is under the nose and by the mustache. Okay, so because we got that double wood there, our wood ends up being about, because you're measuring crossways on it, about 1.25 inches thick. So, which works out great because, like I said, this will be we really want to make that nose pop out. So, this will be the deepest area we're carving here. The only thing I can say is I should have made the nose wider. Okay, so if you guys are going to try this, make your nose a little bit wider than you think it should be. I've done this enough where I should have had that all figured in, but oops. Even, you know, all of us mess up, but it's still okay. It came out okay. It's not to the point where oh, that nose is way too small and I'm just going to start over. Nope. I hate starting over. Once I get started on a project, I hate starting over. It does happen on occasion. So we're just going to go with this guy with a little bit of a skinny nose. It's not super skinny, but I would have liked to seen the nose a little bit wider. My nose was wider, then I could have made my mustache wider too. See that? I just poked a hole right through. I did it on purpose. Down, I'm going way deep in there. I poked the hole through there for the beginning of the mouth. Okay, now we're going back up there. You're making another mistake, Rob. Do not angle your burr inward. If anything, see how that is right now? Outward, that's how you want to follow your line. Because what ends up happening is a skinny nose can get a lot skinnier. Yep. If you angle, when you're cutting out your nose, if you accidentally angle that burr inward like it's flat, which is easy to do because you're working on a flat surface, don't do it. You want to keep that burr angled away from the nose. Otherwise, you'll end up undercutting the nose, just like I did. You'll end up undercutting the nose, and then your nose will get skinnier because you're going to want to take that undercut line away. So what happens? Your nose gets skinnier. Yep. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm kind of flattening the cheeks out, going in down alongside the nose because we want our nose to really pop. So you can see I'm digging the nose in deeper, and I'm flattening, trying to change the angle of the wood on those cheeks, because we don't want our cheeks at a 45-degree angle, and that's what they're at right now. So we're just trying to flatten it out for where our eyes are going to be. Just flatten it out a little bit. And it gets flatter quicker than you think. You would think, oh man, I'm going to have to take a lot of wood out of there to get that cheek flat. But it works out pretty quick, guys. You just keep working it. Now you can see by working that mustache down, the cheeks are already starting to pop out on their own, right? Because I'm not running it all the way back up to where the eye sits. Yep. By working that, cutting that mustache in, you can almost see the cheek lines starting to reveal themselves. Oh, I'm all dusty. See? You can see the cheek lines are already starting to reveal themselves. All right, guys, here we are. Getting ready to do some more carving on this guy. Had to take a little break there. Now we're back. Gotta get everything set up here. Get in position. Get the workstation. There's his cheeks. You can see that they're cut in now, kind of. And we are going to come in and start feathering things and rounding things over here. We're going to round the cheeks down. We're going to feather the feather that beard in. I like to have my cheeks stick out a little bit higher than the beard, I guess. So we'll just start cutting that stuff back. And that nose has got to come out a lot more, and it will. You just keep working all the areas back. Feathering back and recutting, and feathering back and recutting. And it'll start bringing the face out of the wood for you. Just always keep in the back of your mind, if you're making it out of 1 by whatever, 1 by 4s, 1 by 6s, it's easy enough to scale this up. I just had some old 1 by 4s laying around. So this is just 1 by 4 pine that you buy at your local hardware, big box store, whatever. 1 by 4 trim boards. I like the trim boards because you can find them with less knots. Yeah, if you get knotty wood, it's hard to carve. Not impossible, but hard. Harder, I should say. But yeah, you could get 2 by 4s. But remember, when you use the 2 bys, the space inside for the bird is going to get a lot smaller. Okay. I guess you could use 2 by 4s or 2 by 6s for the face, that corner, and then go ahead and use 1 by 4s or 1 by 6s for the back side. That would give you should give you a little more room inside there. I don't know. I haven't really figured it out if the volume is the same whether you use 2-inch boards or 1-inch boards. But yeah, it's just that I had some 1 by 4s here already, and I figured, what the heck, I would make a birdhouse, cowboy nesting box. Yeah. And now we're working the bridge of the nose in. Yep. We'll get the bridge of the nose worked in there, guys. And we'll work from the bridge to the point of the nose, okay? So when you do that, you really don't want to carve too much of the point of the nose off right now, because that has to be, you want your nose to be the furthest thing sticking out on your face. And I'm doing a little rounding over on the nose. I'm not a big fan of the pointy nose, like the spirits or the wood spirits have, the wizards. So often enough, I will make the bridge of the nose swoop in a little bit, and then I'll round the tip of the nose over. But that's just my style. That's just my preference. You guys, but especially you beginners, like me, all of us beginners, have just got to play around with it, because there's no wrong way to carve, guys. You just got to carve it the way you feel it. Like when I free carve, I don't even start off with a design. I just start carving. and whatever comes out comes out. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's scary, sometimes it's garbage. But yeah, I call it free carving, where you really don't have a plan and you just start carving, and whatever comes out of the wood comes out of the wood. I do that once in a while. But I'll tell you, since I started this YouTube channel, the free carving has not been in the lineup. So I've been actually putting a lot of thought into my carvings nowadays. And I think it's showing. I think they're getting a little bit better. You know, if I compare it back to a carving I did last year, before some of my YouTube friends talked me into starting a channel, I think they've come quite a bit. But once you start a YouTube channel, you're like, well, I gotta make videos for my friends. They like them, so I gotta make them. Gotta make videos for my friends. So almost every day I try putting up a new video for you guys. Don't get there sometimes. Sometimes you start feeling like you're getting a little YouTube burned out. And you've been going for 6 months every day. So you gotta take a day off. Right? Everybody needs a day off. Gonna make us a cup of coffee while we're narrating this video. Yep. So we are doing this guy here because I promised I would make a cowboy birdhouse. So I will. And that's what we're doing here, guys. We are making that birdhouse to show Jordy. Him and I were talking, and he's like, "Oh, you make birdhouses like mine?" I'm like, "No, my birdhouses aren't like yours, Jordy." I have made a couple of cowboy birdhouses on the flat side. They came out okay. You can get away with using a 2x whatever for the face on a flat birdhouse, and then you can get to go deep and all that. But the hardest face you'll ever carve is into a flat board, because you got to round all that stuff over. You got to get that face rounded in to be able to have your nose and stuff pop out. So I don't know. I just when I started carving these guys, I just always put them on a corner for some reason. Then I'm like, well, let's try it on the flat. So I tried it on the flat, and I'm like, oh, this is hard. It's hard to get a flat. See how his nose is popping out there now? It's hard to get a face to come out of a flat piece of wood. It's not impossible. It can be done. But boy, you have got to remove a lot of wood to get that face popped out. So you can see we're cutting in the sides of the nose deeper. See how that ridge of the nose is starting to come out more as we're flattening our cheeks out a little bit. We're getting the nose cut in a little deeper. So see how it's different than when you're working on a big chunk of wood. You can just right in there on that first pass and get that first or second pass and get that nose cut way in there deeper. When you're working with thin wood, they say it's 1 inch, but it actually measures like 3/4 or 7/8, something like that. When you're working on thin wood, I tend to be a little more reserved, and I'll keep cutting it back till I hear that tone in the wood change. And then you can take your 2 fingers and use them like a set of calipers. Just pinch the wood, and you can tell the thickness. just by pinching it. Well, I can. I mean, if you do it enough, you should be able to tell. All right, I got like 3/8 of an inch there yet. So yeah, you see, cutting this side in deeper. Yep. So you can see it's all coming together here. And yep. I'm working them cheeks flatter, which is making my nose pop out more. So there's a point for you guys. As you're working your cheeks down, because you don't want to keep your cheeks on the same angle that they're at on that 45. I like to have mine flattened out to give it a little more of that human face look. So yeah, I'm flattening those cheeks out, and believe me, guys, this cowboy is far different than any of the other ones I made because I just didn't go this deep. I used to make them out of like cedar, 1 inch, 1x4, 1x6 cedar, and so their faces were a lot flatter, unfortunately. But yeah, since working with Jordy, I have this is a whole new cowboy face for me. I've taken a lot of what he's taught for the wood spirits, and I've changed it up a little here and there to reshape for cowboy face. So you see, you'll develop your own technique and your own carving style. Everybody has a different carving style. So even though I've taken lessons from Jordy, I've changed them to fit my carving style. And I think I've even rubbed off a little bit on Jordy because I see he's taken some of my carving style and changed it to fit the way he carves. See, so everybody carves their own style. Even if you're trying to emulate somebody's style, you'll be like, man, that just don't look like his. Well, that's because everybody's got their own style. And do you really want yours to look like somebody else's? You want yours to look like yours, right? You want to make your stuff your stuff. And yeah, so take the knowledge, take the style, like from me, or from Jordy, or from Gene Messer, or from Doug Linker. Take that style, but make it your own. You just want to try making it your own. And it may not be, it may be just little differences, like the way I do my noses. And, or, it might be bigger differences, like the way you do your beard. Or, make it your own, guys. I mean, there's a lot of carvers out there, and believe it or not, every one of them has their own style. There's a million carvers, and there's probably a million different styles. Like, well, that definitely looks like something Jordy carved, but this is different, and that is different, which is good because you have made it your own style, right? If everybody carved the same way, it'd be kind of boring. You take that Phil Grop. That dude has got a style way of his own. And it's really cool. You take Doug Linker. Look at some of his videos from a couple years back, and then look at his videos that he does now. And he's changed during his evolution. He's changed his style. He's got so much better, and you'll find that for yourself. you'll start out emulating somebody's style, mine or Jordy's or Gene's or Doug's or Kevin Coates. Those are all great carvers, guys. You might start out trying to emulate them, but then you'll find a better way for you to carve. So don't be afraid to try. Try different things. You could take 3 or 4 different carving guys off YouTube and mash all their carving styles together. Pretty much, I do what's easiest for me to do, and you'll do the same in the future. So, yeah, check out all the different carvers and see how they carve, and you'll find a style that fits you. And then as you evolve as a carver, you'll find your very own style. And that's the coolest thing about carving, is you can watch 10 different carvers and do the same thing. Let's say eyes. Eyes are hard. Okay? You could watch 10 different eye carving videos and they'll all be different on how people decide that they like to do their eyes. So you might take all 10 of them and try them and say, hey, this one fits me the best. If I start out with this style and then add in that style, I know I'm just rambling, right? Well, I'm hoping to give you some information that I've learned carving for you to use to help you carve. Yep, see, we're rounding the end of his nozzle over there. We carved his snot holes in. Yep. Now we're splitting that mustache. And always be polite, guys. If you don't like the way somebody carves, you don't have to watch them. Okay? And you don't have to leave nasty messages on their comments. So you'll never see me leave a nasty message, do this or do that. That's not the way I would do it. That's their style. All right, guys, this is it for today. We'll catch you later. Share, subscribe, and like, and be awesome. Bye.